I would like to share a little message with the world essentially and give reason as to why I make these videos, as I hope it might help others to come out of their shells and realise that they are far more capable than they realise, and they can do so much more in their lives if they are willing to overcome their holdbacks, their fears, their phobias, whatever imagined state that your brain tells you is so deathly threatening and violently horrible that you should never cross these lines. I believe that you will eventually realise that it's not all that scary. And when you begin to bring down these perceived walls, your life grows so much more. And this is kind of what I'm doing here, really, as I'm on this journey. So, in short, my story. Many years ago, I used to be quite a reserved child. Following an event that happened to me when I was younger, which I won't go into, it left me feeling very anxious, very kind of traumatized by life, and my response to that was to be more reserved. And by being more reserved, I mean not getting involved in conversations, trying to avoid people, as I felt overwhelmed or threatened by just being around other kids or speaking even, like everything was such a danger. At the same time, I had this desire to go out and have fun and just experiment with the world, just practice with this life in itself and see what I could be. And this kind of fear pursued me through much of my early younger years, into my teenage years. And it affected me at college and university because often I was asked to give presentations about certain projects I was working on. And my response to those situations was a racing pulse for days and days on end, cold sweats, sweaty palms, stuttering and stammering with words, and just not being able to find the right thing to say, as I felt like my body was almost deliberately forcing myself not to speak or not encounter these situations. And as I say, I spent many weeks before these different presentations, maybe months even in some scenarios, where I just panic and overanalyze and over-practice, and at the same time try to find different ways to get out of certain presentations. And when I get these presentations, the people in my class seemingly were quite relaxed about it. It didn't seem as much of a big deal to them, and I couldn't quite understand, well, how come you're not panicking like I am? Am I wrong or are you wrong? And I started to think, well, they seem happier. They seem to be enjoying what they're doing as they're doing their presentations. I'd love to be like this. And then when my time came around to do these presentations in front of these people that seemed to be so relaxed, despite them not discouraging me in any way, being quite supportive, I had been quite shaky, I couldn't quite pull the words together. It was just awful. And after those events, I just replayed those memories for months and months on end, overanalyzing, reliving those cringy, embarrassing moments. And that's what kind of continued into my adult life, really, where as I grew older and more experienced, my intellect grew, my capability grew, but at the same time it was kept behind this wall of fear, really, that I had this kind of thing at the back of my mind every time I went to an interview, or every time I had a conversation with a person, or whatever it might be. I always had this voice at the back of my mind telling me, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not intelligent enough. Why are you speaking to these people? You can't say this, you can't say that. And it just continued for so many years, and over time I very gradually pushed through that thing, but still I wasn't really making much ground. Confidence grew slowly, but it just wasn't fast enough. And then I realised I feel like I'm just spending my life behind this perceived cage which nobody has put me in but myself. And that's when the realisation came to me that this is completely self-inflicted. Yes, I've encountered people in my life who've tried to put me down or said awful things, but at the end of the day, they've got nothing to do with my journey. Only I hold the keys to my future. And that's when I had that kind of light bulb moment. Well, the only way I'm going to face this beast is to simply do it. And do it I did. Over the last year, maybe 2 years, I'd say, I've been taking kind of different public speaking courses and putting myself in situations where I've had to speak in front of people and do more things. And yeah, I've kind of messed up a bit on the way, but the more ultimately that I faced the beast, so to speak, the better things got and the better the responses. So, and the way I perceive things as being better, even just iteratively, my body began to respond to that by not being overcautious, by not presenting the whole fight or flight response of, beating heart, wanting to run away, sweaty palms. To me, often I end up speaking very quickly. I've been able to slow things down, not be so panicky. And as I say, I took these courses, and of course recently I've started this whole YouTube channel where the idea behind this whole thing is simply I just want to share some passing thoughts, some thoughts as I become less ignorant about the world and about life, and share maybe some successful discoveries I've made upon the way, or things that I'm currently thinking about in order to improve my life. And at the same time, facing up to a camera, putting myself at risk for anybody to say awful things about me, as anyone would do in real life. At the end of the day, it just doesn't matter. I see so many of these different podcasters with these big glitzy, glamorous kind of presentation pieces, and they're amazing. But I just don't see enough honest people just speaking to a camera, pretty much unedited, just being a human being, not having an entire presentation written, planned, organised, just simply sharing thoughts as they flow. And through doing that, making themselves maybe a better person, maybe a better communicator. So yeah, in short, this is why this whole channel exists. It's not amazing, it's not the best thing ever, but I think there's quite a few golden nuggets of knowledge hidden amongst these short 10-minute long videos that I think could help somebody, and me being one piece of evidence of many pieces of evidence of proof that anybody can change, anybody can improve themselves and become a better communicator. If I can do it, you can do it. If you can do it, you can teach somebody else how to do it, and so on. Ultimately, knowledge is something that should always be free and always be afforded to everybody who's willing to learn from each other. So yeah, hope you enjoy any of these videos. I hope they maybe give you a bit of a laugh at the very least, as this average everyday Joe just gives it a go. Become less ignorant about the world by putting yourself out there, by learning from other people, and hopefully sharing your learnings too. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.